Welcome to YOUCANIC. In this video we're going to show you how to remove this clock spring. Here we have a 2016 Mazda 3. Procedure is going to be very similar for other models as well. Of course part number is going to be different, but you get the idea of what it takes to replace a clock spring. Now a couple of signs that the clock spring is bad is that your airbag light comes on and you read the codes and you have a code for high resistance to the driver's airbag. Your horn might not work, steering wheel buttons don't work properly. Those are kind of the main things. So we have another video on how you remove the airbag and the steering wheel on this vehicle right here. Let's just go quick over the steps on this, on how to remove the steering wheel and the airbag. If you need more help than this, go ahead and watch our other tutorial on that. But you have the airbag here. You will start by turning on the ignition and leaving that on accessory position or position 1 where the steering wheel is unlocked. You don't need the dash to be on or engine running or anything like that. So you leave it on that position, then you go disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. Then once you do that, wait 3 minutes and come here and press the horn a couple of times to discharge any residual electricity might be in the vehicle. Once you do that, our steering wheel now is going to be unlocked. It's not going to lock in position because we need to turn this left and right. So what we're going to do is you're going to turn it off to the side here, and then you'll take a screwdriver and you'll insert it through this hole right here. So there's this hole right here where you insert it, not this, but it's going to have this hole, so you have 2 of them. And what you'll do is as you insert the screwdriver here, you're coming through here, you can see there, and you're pushing that down like this, so. And then you turn the steering wheel in the other position, you release this side, then you turn it basically upside down and release the bottom. And then once you do that, you have to handle the airbag with care, and you should not turn on the ignition once the airbag is disconnected, otherwise you're going to trigger the airbag light. But once that's removed, then you have these electrical connectors. There's 2 yellow connectors that have a black piece in the center of them. Those need to be pulled out before you can disconnect the connectors from the airbag. You can see here the connectors have this black piece in the back. That needs to be popped up a little bit. It doesn't have to be removed, and then you can disconnect the airbag. Once you do that, then you have a 21mm bolt right here in the center. You need to have somebody counter hold the steering wheel while you break that loose because it's on tight. Once that bolt is removed, you mark the center of the steering wheel in a couple of places because we want to put this back exact location. We don't want to put it at an angle, so when we're driving down the highway our steering wheel is not off center. Once that's done, then you just simply pull the steering wheel towards the back and then you remove it. Now this is the clock spring right here. That's what we're trying to remove and replace. Make sure you don't turn this around, turn this way and come to the bottom, because that can it's basically the vehicle realizes the steering wheel is not on center anymore, or also this ribbon has a limited left and right turn, so if you turn it one time you can't turn it all the way to the left anymore without damaging it. So that's a problem a lot of people have, is that they reinstall the clock spring but they don't find where the center is, and I'll go over that in just a minute. But here you have this trim, you have the upper trim and lower trim. You have a couple bolts for this lower trim. There's a bolt there, it's a screw, I'm sorry, and a screw right there, so 2 screws on this, and these just simply separate. You pull this down and then you pull this one up. It's going to be a little bit of resistance to separate these because they clip here on the sides, but it's basically just the 2 screws on the bottom, and then you open that up. Here we have the clock spring, and now to remove the clock spring it's pretty simple. Okay, so right here you have a clip on top. Move that out a little bit. You have one here on the side. I can move that with my finger there. Then you have another one on this side, and you can move that. You can move that out. If you're reinstalling this, again, don't rotate it and put it back. Now right here we have the connectors on the back. This white one had a clip on the bottom part, so you have to press it. I'm pressing that right now, and it's pulled, so you can see that right there. But now this black one is a little bit tricky. On the bottom side, it has this piece that pulls out. You have to pull that out and then pull out the whole connector. So that's gonna this is the airbag connector, and there have these clips that are just for secure reason, so that airbag doesn't disconnect while you're driving. So that's it. There is the clock spring. Okay, so now you can go ahead and reinstall the clock spring. Now ideally you want to have a brand new clock spring and reinstall it, but clock springs don't have to be brand new. A used one will work as well. The trick though about installing a used one is that before you even disconnect the battery, before you ever actually did anything, one thing that you should do is have the wheels pointing straight, so you know that the clock spring is going to be in center. Now after you release the airbag, turn the steering wheel and bring the steering wheel on center. Don't have it upside down, bring it on center again. And once you do that, then you know that the clock spring should be on center as well. So when you take the new clock spring, what you do is you can rotate it all the way to the right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3. And then you come all the way to the left, and you're gonna have either 5 or 6 revolutions to the left. So that means in this position the steering wheel is all the way to the right. So what you want to do is you count the revolutions all the way to the left, and when you feel that resistance, you stop. You say, hey, I got 5 revolutions. Then you come back 2.5. So that means you are coming back, your steering wheel is all the way to the left, for example. You're coming back 2.5, and you should be right at the center. If you don't do that, and a lot of people reinstall these used clock springs, and then 2 days after they reinstall it, they still have issues, is because it's been removed from a wrecked car, for example, or from another donor car, but maybe the wheels weren't on center, or doing transport, this moved, rotate a lot. So now you don't know where the center is. That's why you want to do this procedure. Go all the way to the right, all the way to the left. Think of it as you're turning the steering wheel. Then let's say you're going to have 5 revolutions, which is typical. Then you come back from 1, doesn't matter left or right, you come back 2.5, and then you put it right there. That should be your center, and that should not be a problem anymore. Like when you reinstall, you shouldn't have any issues with damaging the clock spring. Otherwise, just think about this. If you rotate this all the way to the right and install it thinking that's the center, you go ahead, put a steering wheel on, and then you go try to make a right turn. Of course, there's so much force is gonna just tear apart this clock spring, and then you're gonna have the issue right away. So so keep that in mind. But as far as reinstalling it, you just press this in here, you click bottom, top, side, and then these connectors, you have to reconnect them. Otherwise, if you don't, you're gonna have issues like turn signals not working or airbag light coming on. You reconnect that. You line up these 2 pieces together. Okay. You line that up. You line the upper one up. You put it together like so. These have to click to lock in place, and then you reinstall the steering wheel, and the airbag just pushes right in. When you reinstall the steering wheel, make sure you line up these marks, and also when when you put in back that bolt and you tighten that, you need to torque that to spec and put some Loctite on it, thread locker, so that doesn't come loose while driving, and then push the airbag and reconnect the battery, and that should be it. That's all. Thank you for watching.